in studio. Last week, really a shock for everyone as a second attack hit Mandera in just days. So many lives lost in such a vicious manner. And people are beginning to ask themselves, what next? There's a sense of hopelessness, Abbas. Give us some context now. What's the latest in Mandera? What does government need to do to address the situation? We know we need more security. What would you like to see specifically?
Well, what I'd like to see, I think, from central government perspective, I think there are a lot of securities there. The point is, as has been said by the county government leaders and by the central government itself, I think the need for the two governments to work very closely with each other to be able to get a lot of intelligence and information, and on every intelligence that is received, it must be acted upon. Whether it happens or it doesn't happen, it's good that you act on it than not to act on it. Secondly, I think both central government and county government has to more engage the citizens of that county, because a lot of information can come through the ordinary citizens. And I think citizens have a responsibility. They owe allegiance to this country, and should they get information, it's up to them to pass the information. But for those who receive this information, it's upon them also to act on it decisively and appropriately. But what we've seen in Mandera is shocking. This is a county that had come out of many months of internal conflict between the communities in that county, and now constantly hit by external aggression, which is very sad and religious. People want to wage what they want to believe as a religious conflict in this country. We've never had this before, and I hope and pray that as Kenyans we will not be caught into this trap of what this terrorists would want us to get ourselves involved.
Let's talk about that for a minute, because clearly there is intent to cause a religious divide, because what they're doing is separating people in some of these attacks and letting the Muslims go free, killing the Christians, but they have also killed Christians. I think the question is this a religious war, or is this just terrorism? And how do we as a country sustain the peace we've always had when it comes to religion?
From where I see it, this is just pure terrorism. There's no religion into this. What these people have done with the two incidents in Mandera and others in other parts of this country, it's just been pure terrorism. If we look at Westgate a year and a half ago, it was pure terrorism. They killed Muslim, non-Muslim, they killed every person they got to kill, they killed.
But they create a pretense
or
a pretext that some are saved. But is this, do you think, intended to spark a flame?
For sure. For what happened in Mandera, for dividing people and asking them to recite Quran and find out if they were Muslim or not, or what happened in Peketone in Lamu, again doing the same. That's the intention, that's the purpose, because they're passing on this message loud and clear that, you know, we are targeting non-Muslims, but Islam, of which I'm a Muslim and I'm proud to be one, has nothing to do with this kind of violence that we've seen. They have no right to kill any human being, anyone worth his or her soul, of his religion. There's no religion in this world that preaches killing innocent lives.
Thank you for that, Abbas. Let's go back to the humanitarian situation on the ground. We've seen a raft of attacks in different places. There are underlying issues in many of these places that are you know, specific to the areas. We saw Baringo, we've seen Tana River, Kapedo has happened, Lamu happened. We have the conflicts that we see going on in Mombasa right now around the mosques. What is the solution? How do we once and for all start to deal with these underlying issues?
I guess this is an issue that is very big, Julie, as far as I'm concerned, and it's an issue that all of us as Kenyans of goodwill have a responsibility. You know, we will always say government, and government for me is not the head of state, it's not the deputy, it's not the ministers, it's not just the civil servant, it's you and me and all of us together. We all have a responsibility, just like it's been said that we have a responsibility for security, both you and I, as the head of state said recently, which I subscribe to. But on the other hand, there are issues affecting young people. This is a very young nation. Over 60 to 70% of the population of this country is below 18. A lot of them are unemployed. They are graduates of come out of universities, out of colleges, who are looking for decent life. These are people who are almost getting into a situation of hopelessness, where they believe they have nothing to lose. Right. As someone says, I have to lose something for me to feel that I must protect it. But for a lot of them feel they have nothing to lose. If we look at the issues of the cost, they're very fundamental issues. religion may be used as a pretext, but there are fundamental issues of unemployment, education. There may be perceived injustices over the years. And if you look at Lamu, Tana River, if you look at Mombasa, there may be land issues. But if you go to East Pokot or Baringo, Turkana, Samburu, the conflicts have been there traditionally for many years. This used to be a normal thing to do cattle rustling in a small way during ceremonies and initiations, circumcision periods.
It's been commercialized
but now it's been heavily commercialized. You can see the extent of the violence that is being used to take off these animals. If you look at the issues of the northeastern, of course there have been ethnic clashes in Moyale, in Bigger Marsabit, in Isiolo, in Mandera, in Wajir, and parts of Garissa, part of Tana River. Those clashes that were ethnic clashes normally come during closer to election periods, okay? But now, the extent with which it is going on is frightening, where the police officers lose their lives very easily. What happened in Kapedo was shocking. What happened in Baragoi, what happened in Tana River, is something we've never experienced before.
I want to finish, Abbas, with your words of advice, first and foremost to Kenyans. You know the goodwill of Kenyans. We saw Kenyans for Kenya some years back and the power of the Kenyan spirit. So for many Kenyans sitting at home saying, how do I help? I want to do something, but how do I help? What would your advice be? Also for all of us looking at government saying, seriously, you need to up your game. What would your advice to government be?
Well, I think in terms of security, we have to promote and support our security forces. We are very good in bashing. We are very good in sometimes being very negative and being our worst enemies. Our soldiers are human beings like you and me, and mistakes can be made at customs, immigration, border points. They've been all that have been talked about. And human beings make mistakes, and many times then a whole government, a whole police unit or a whole military unit is demonized and blamed. What I want to say is that, and that's why we started a campaign about a few days ago to say the campaign about One Kenya hashtag. What we're saying to Kenyans is during these times of challenges and difficulties that the nation faces, that we've always come together. And this time more than ever, we should not allow anyone to divide us on religion basis, on political affiliation, on color, on creed, and we should be united as a nation. We should say that we should rally behind our forces, behind the leadership of this country, and even the political divide should come together, because at times you said the nation is bigger than all of us put together, and I believe this is that time. We've never been faced this kind of challenges, but we should also look internally and look to find solutions to the problems that we have inside the country, apart from that external. Because if we are strongly united as one people, as one nation, it would be very easy for us to face any challenges that comes from outside our borders.
Thank you for that, Abbas. And if you don't know about that campaign, it's on Twitter right now, hashtag One Kenya or hashtag Share the Love. Share your views with us. Abbas says, let's stay united. And certainly if we're not united, they do win. The terrorists win. So thank you so much. As always, Abbas Gullet is a good friend of Sunday Live and indeed a hero in this country, Kenya. We always appreciate the work you and your teams do. Please take that message back to the Kenya Red Cross. Asante sana. Now we go back to take a look at what you've been searching on the net. Now we're going 5 to 1. Let's have a look. Net search it is. And at number 5, it's okay, it's coming. There we have it. David Kimayo. It is. Kimayo resigns also. So former Inspector General of Police David Kimayo announced his resignation on Tuesday. The Inspector General's resignation came in the wake of that heinous terror attack in Mandera. At number 4, football it is, the EPL, English Premier League. So some of the matches searched Man United, some of the teams searched Man United, Chelsea, Newcastle, Man City, Everton. Now it was the 15th week of football action in the EPL, and Kenyans searched for many matches online. This is the first time the EPL or football is not at the top. It's not in the top 3, as national news this week took precedence. Yes, if you are a Liverpool fan, it was there too. At number 3, now it is Uhuru Kenyatta, ICC case. Now prosecutors at the International Criminal Court on Friday withdrew charges of crimes against humanity against President Uhuru Kenyatta. There was a raft of searches on him following that decision. At number 2, Anna Freud it is, and you're asking who on earth is she? Well, she's a renowned psychoanalyst and founder of Child Psychoanalysis. Google celebrated her 119th birthday on Wednesday, December 3rd, with a doodle. She was born in Vienna in 1985. She was the daughter of Sigmund Freud, an Austrian neurologist known as the father of psychoanalysis. At number 1. And we've been talking about it with Abbas Gullet. It is the Mandera massacre, where 36 people were killed in Mandera. This happened in the early hours of Tuesday. Suspected Al-Shabaab militants attacked a quarry, killing 36 civilians. Now, this is the first time that a local news item has topped the search on Google, on net search. Interesting. And certainly as we go out of that, Abbas, very often, just a final word, very often we find people searching football and various other things. What does it say to you that the Mandera attack now was the top search for Kenyans on Google?
Well, it tells me quite clearly that Kenyans have taken interest to this story, as shocking as it may have been. For it to have happened, in a space of 10 days, to have had two extremely terrible attacks on ordinary civilians. And it just shows how Kenyans have taken to understanding the problem and wanting something to be done about it, and I think challenging all of us that we cannot allow this to happen again, and I pray and hope it never happens anywhere in this country ever again.
Thank you, and thank you to everybody who was searching this. Critical to see us searching items that indeed affect our lives. We're taking a break. Stay with Sunday Live.